Hey guys, it's Mr. Terry, high school history teacher. And in the latest poll, you guys chose this video for me to react and comment to. And it's called Testing the Assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. And this is by Brandon Herrera. All right, this original video link is linked down below. Please support Brandon. And if you want to vote in polls to get videos fast-tracked onto this channel, make sure to subscribe and head over to the Posts tab on my main channel page. You can also recommend videos by posting them in the Discord, which is also linked down below. All right, let's check this out. Now, I'm hoping to be able to talk a little bit about the history behind this assassination. I'm not sure if Brandon's going to get into that, but I'm going to try to interject it a little bit.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was a very influential African-American civil rights leader in the United States in the 1960s. Some would say he's even the most influential civil rights leader in all of American history.
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say so. A lot of famous people when it comes to civil rights have gotten a lot of infamy, kind of like post hoc, kind of like after the fact. You know, someone like Harriet Tubman, who, yes, she did help a lot of people, but like her infamy kind of, you know, grew, especially after her. Rosa Parks would be another one too, although again, her stuff set off a chain of events. So yeah, I would definitely go with the Martin Luther King. It's also a little bit, you know, different too inside of the African-American community, because not all people were necessarily unified with the practicality of what Martin Luther King was saying. And like one group, for example, that might be behind that a little bit is people that were more supportive of maybe like the policies of someone like Malcolm X, who wanted to take a more active, almost revolutionary defensive position rather than more of the Martin Luther King, you know, Gandhi inspired ahimsa nonviolence type of approach. Anyway,
that is, of course, until April 4th of 1968, when at the Lorraine Motel in Memphis, Tennessee, he was shot and killed by James Earl Ray, at least according to the FBI. The rifle used by James Earl Ray was this Remington.
Okay, he's not gonna talk about it. Perfect time to say that. Why was it mysterious or whatever? Now, essentially, here's what happened. James Earl Ray had a rap sheet. He had been involved in some criminal activity, you know, before in his life. He had actually escaped from prison not long before he was sentenced, I think, to 20 years for a crime before that. And he had broken out of prison. And well, anyway, they found, like, they definitely know that he was there in Memphis when this shooting attacked. In fact, they know he rented, I think, the house kind of by the hotel, but then also like his fingerprints are on a rifle that's there. And after he had shot Reverend King, he had fled, and actually fled the country. He had actually gone to Canada, and it's believed that he was actually going to try to get to Africa. He wanted to get to Rhodesia, I believe. If you know about Rhodesia in the 1960s, it was established basically as an apartheid state, and with that meaning a white minority ruling with a superior position over a black majority, not unlike, say, South Africa. Well, anyways, he went from Canada and then to the UK and was going to try to probably travel out of there. And his passport, because he ended up getting a Canadian passport, ended up being flagged. And he was then extradited from the UK back to the United States. He ends up, because there was, again, the prince at the scene, he ended up doing a plea deal to avoid the death sentence, and was I believe tried with or not tried, but he was given a 99-year sentence. So interestingly, though, about just I think 3 or so days before, he withdrew his plea and said that he didn't do it. He said he didn't do it, that he was there was other people involved, and he admitted to the prince and wanted to maybe and wanted to, like, if for it to look like he did it, so he could be like a hero. It's also said that he said that, you know, he would go in jail, and that George Wallace, who was running for president, a lot of people, you know, consider him a sympathizer for basically like white racists, that he would get into prison and then like pardon him. But anyways, he never got to get that trial. They rejected basically his plea, but basically him and his family, for the rest of his life, he died in the late 90s, I believe, said that he didn't do it. Anyway.
Remington 760 30-06 rifle. So today we're going to learn about this firearm,
Powerful rifle.
the historical context that led to Martin Luther King Jr.'s assassination, and even trying to recreate the shot. And of course, talk about one of my personal favorite conspiracy theories as to why the FBI was directly involved in his death.
Well, you can't say that.
So this is our
Yeah, because some people saying that the FBI pinned it on or whatever. They wanted to go with the lone shooter theory because there was like these things out there that or ideas out there that there were actually a lot of people that had planned to go out and kill him. We know the FBI did not like him. They went after him and pretty much threatened his life. You can see letters coming from like J. Edgar Hoover, you know, from the FBI to basically threatening him. And so that's why that's also gained a lot of momentum in sort of the conspiracy that, you know, it was like a cover up. I don't know if it was, somebody said that it was, I don't know if it was James Earl Ray or whoever said that it was actually done by like a Memphis police officer, but there ended up being no evidence tying it to that. So anyways, that's why it gets so murky there.
Remington Model 760. This is a hunting rifle in 30-06. While it's not super common today, it was actually a pretty common hunting rifle in the 1960s. Now, while it may look like your typical hunting rifle, there is one thing about it that makes it rather unique.
Right after that thing. Interesting.
It's pump action.
Yeah, pump action
rifles are not
30-06.
really super common these days. You mostly just see, you know, pump action shotguns.
That's actually pretty cool.
It's fed from a box magazine. So if you press this button down here, drops out your magazine where you have 4 rounds, I believe.
It would get nice because like my dad is a 30-06 and it's bolt action, so it's just one at a time, and that would be hard. You know, probably harder for hunting because you got to hit it. Let's say you shot and didn't, and it's, you know, the deer or whatever is trying to, you know, it's getting away. You take a long time to reload and get another shot out. This one you could get it off pretty quick. So why is this not as popular now of a mechanism where you could have, you know, a clip?
30-06. Push that back up, and then you may continue firing. This was definitely somebody's hunting rifle.
James Earl Ray just
did
one shot though.
Weaver mounting system and an older Marlin scope on it. And if you compare the photos, it's pretty close to the original gun that was allegedly used by James Earl Ray to actually take the shot in Memphis. The only thing I'm not exactly sure about as far as matching to the original gun is the twist rate of the rifling, which for those who don't know is how aggressive the rifling is to mean like the amount of rotations before it leaves the barrel. So I'm not really sure if my rifling matches, but that's okay.
That'll change its accuracy.
According to modern forensic analysis, the rifling on the alleged gun used didn't match the bullet found in Dr. King anyway, so. That's a little strange.
Wait. 30-06 Remington hunting rifle, which Ray admits owning, which was found bearing his fingerprints near the assassination scene in Memphis, has been test fired twice before. The test in 1968 by the FBI and in 1978 by experts working for a congressional investigation committee, like the one conducted this year, failed to reach a conclusion as to whether the bullet that killed King was fired from Ray's rifle. So this is something I guess that Ray would have said that it was actually another shooter, but he planted it so he would take the fall for it for whatever reasons, you know.
Anyway, so.
Thought he could get away with it.
That's a little strange. And yes, I know what you're thinking. I bought it on Gunbroker. Sue me.
So as you guys might know, I've got a bit of a crippling gun broker addiction. And a gun buying addiction like that comes with a couple drawbacks, not least of which being crippling debt. But that doesn't just come from buying guns. It can come from credit cards, personal loans, medical bills, stuff that I'm sure a lot of you guys
RPG back there.
Which means a lot of you guys are probably wondering if there was a better way to pay off your debt. Well, that's where PDS Debt comes in. With rising interest rates and cost of living at an all-time high, maybe now's the time to take some initiative to get your debt under control. So if you're making payments every month, but your balances aren't going down, this might be for you. PDS Debt rolls all of your payments into one low monthly payment, which can pay off your debt in a fraction of the time, while also saving you thousands on interest and fees. Best part is everybody with over $10,000
sure, that's just a minor
in
amount
debt
too, of like what he
and there's
actually
no minimum
owns.
credit score required. So bad and fair credits both accept. PDS Debt will also
from
give
all
you
over the
a
world, all
free
the different
debt savings
models.
analysis just for completing the 30-second online debt assessment at pdsdebt.com/bh. You'll receive a full breakdown on how to save interest each month and the quickest way to take care of your debt. So be sure to check them out. Go to the links in the description and in the pinned comment. That's pdsdebt.com/bh.
I like the Lugers.
So today we're going to use cameras and a ballistic dummy
Oh
head.
wait, I didn't even just notice now.
/bh.
He's wearing a fat electrician shirt. I have that one in black.
So today we're going to use cameras and a ballistic dummy head, and I'm going to explain exactly where Dr. King was shot that day in that motel and attempt to visually recreate the damage. But first, I think it's important to show the level of damage we're talking about that James Earl Ray would have at his disposal.
James Earl Jones. Interesting that there's two famous people that literally go by their full with middle name, a James Earl and blank.
That's James Earl Jones, James Earl Ray.
Voice of Darth Vader, if you didn't know.
So to demonstrate the kind of energy we can get out of a 30-06.
Oh, by the way, James Earl Ray was in the military. He joined late in World War II, I think went into Germany for a little bit, and then he was discharged. And I think it was dishonorably. I think he was not fit for service.
Know what's coming. White Claw penetration test. Let's visualize the power we're talking about with the 30-06 here.
White Claw actually good. I've never had White Claw, but it sure seems to be popular.
3, 2, 1.
Gonna waste a drink there? Yep.
Think that did it.
Does he have like his own range? Can you just
so we see our
have
White Claw's
that?
splash zone here is a pretty direct
Zoning
hit. This
wise?
can is absolutely ripped to hell. You see how much power you're dealing with when it comes to 30-06.
Yeah, that type of rifle you're not going to survive.
It's no joke.
From.
30-06 being a popular hunting round in the U.S., but also things like the M1 Garand and the Browning automatic rifle as well. Or the H-car, if you're a Chad. According to the official story, the shot was taken from a bathroom window from across the street of the Lorraine Motel.
Yeah, so I think he rented that room out, from what I understand. He had basically like locked himself inside. He had heard a few days before that he was going to be in that Martin Luther King was going to be in Memphis, because I think Ray was in like Georgia or something at the time, and he went and drove up there.
Dr. King was leaned forward on a balcony talking to people down below in the parking lot. So in order to simulate that, we're going to have a bit of an angle. The shot was taken, and according to the autopsy, it entered through King's jaw and left through his neck. Due to the kind of weird nature of this shot, it's going to be a bit hard to replicate, but we're going to try our best. So it was not a direct headshot in that way, but it was clearly enough to do enough damage so that Dr. King then later bled to death, thus making him a martyr for the civil rights movement and solidifying him as one of the most influential Americans in history.
Yeah.
Or as kids know today, the reason why you get off a day in school in February. Oh, and if this video has been...
So, at least in my state, I don't know if they've done this nationally. I don't think they call it just it was just Martin Luther King Day. I think now they try to expand it a little bit more, and I think it's now called Civil Rights Day. Kind of expanded to like all the civil rights leaders.
Too edgy for you and you're offended already, you probably shouldn't subscribe, because it's kind of what we do around here. But if you're enjoying it, this isn't too much and it hasn't hurt your fees, you should definitely subscribe. You'll fit in great here. So
I don't know. I hope you guys like these. Like, I can add history to these cool. I see these as like science videos. That's what I think's kind of, I guess, fascinating about them. So I don't know. Hopefully it's a good like marriage here. If you guys like this stuff, like this video, if you want me to cover more things like this, I can add history to whatever they're doing.
Here we have everything.
I'll do it if you guys like it.
In position, we've got
I enjoy
the
it.
head leaned forward a little bit, and we've got a pretty clear shot.
A lot further
Unlike the
than
actual
that.
one would have been from the bathroom window, because apparently there was a big ass tree branch in the way, which made the shot virtually impossible. Which thankfully,
They preserved
once
that
was
site.
Found out the Memphis PD cut it down in the middle of the night after the shooting to aid the investigation.
Oh, I don't know that. And again, like I told you, there was an accusation. I think they might even have the name of the guy that was Earl Ray or whatever, accused that he was a Memphis police officer.
Look, I'm just saying it's fucking weird, man. It's a real talk. I was genuinely curious when I
know
heard
the
about this
FBI hated him.
conspiracy,
That
so I
stuff's
reached
become
out to my buddy who's
declassified.
really big into the conspiracy stuff to confirm, okay, did the FBI actually kill MLK? So, Wendigoon?
Hey everybody, Brandon invited me on the channel today
Who's this?
to answer the question, did the FBI kill Martin Luther King
Oh,
Jr.?
okay.
And given my own opinion,
We get
with
some
the
history?
evidence that we have, I believe yes, in fact they did.
Oh,
That is, unless of course Brandon's using this information for some kind of affidavit that might appear in, say, a courtroom. And in that case, my answer is nope.
Real though, Wendigoon is a friend. He's got an awesome channel if you haven't checked it out. All sorts of cool stuff over there. He's a great storyteller. It was actually his video on the MLK conspiracy that kind of I mean, made me look into this a lot more, that's for sure. He kind of won me over on that. You know, you hear,
fascinating.
oh, the FBI killed MLK, and you're like, okay, yeah, whatever, you know, whatever, dude. Then after watching, it's a very well-researched, very well put together video.
It's as interesting and wild as background as the JFK assassination. Like looking at, the interesting things, so... Anyway,
after watching through the whole, like, what, hour and a half, I was like, oh, shit, the fucking FBI killed MLK. I almost forgot to mention that really cool time when the King family actually sued the FBI and other government agencies, saying that they were involved in the murder of their father, and the King family won. That's a real thing. You can look it up.
So Brandon's in.
So
He's in.
Get this on the road.
Now, remember, we're talking the 1960s here. We're talking like the height of CIA coups of leaders around the world. You know, this would not be something like out of the ordinary for a government agency to necessarily do it, because there is precedent of it. Just, you know, it makes it a little bit more intriguing when it's your own country.
I think that's a Matty boy. Yeah, that's demo. I don't know how to explain what we're doing today. So Matt, first off, thanks for letting us use your property for
Demolition
this,
Range.
We appreciate it as always.
I just learned about him. I guess the kid that shot at President Trump was wearing his shirt, Demolition Ranch shirt, and I reacted to the video where he talked about it and how it made him feel and stuff like that. Maybe I'll link that here in the closing credits, but that was the first time I'd never heard of him. I'm just barely creeping into like the gun tuber stuff. I kind of got in through it with like Fat Electrician, who's kind of like adjacent with it. He kind of runs, you know, like he runs with that crew and the history community, kind of like as a bridge, you know, between those two communities.
On the record, do you believe that the FBI killed Martin Luther King Jr.?
On the record, is this going on the internet?
No, it's just shared between a couple friends.
Okay, I'm gonna say
Hundreds of thousands of views.
no. On the record, I do not believe that the government would ever do anything against us.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't either. Clearly not.
The
They're good
government-
people.
They have our best interest at heart.
They always have.
That's what I
Brandon
love so
ran for
much about the
Congress.
government and
Would he
most of the
become those
media.
people then?
That's why I love paying all of my taxes. I'm just gonna double check to make sure this is zeroed. I'm gonna be shooting for the
RPG'd.
middle of the top.
It was way further than that, though. Oh, okay.
The
He's going
steel
back.
up top there.
It was across a street
Firing.
and a parking lot. Kind of like a yard, a street,
Good enough
and a
for government
parking lot.
Well. All right, this is just a tricky shot because of how specific it's got to be, and these dummies are very expensive. So let's try to give this a go.
Miss? You
The
miss?
steel somehow bounce up into the steel. All right, let's see what we got. So we did have a neck shot. We didn't actually get the jaw.
Oh.
Actually, I think it might have grazed right past. It's very close to the bone, so there would have been a lot more actual muscle material here, but it grazed right through and opened up right into the neck, just like the
Just
original
into the
would
neck
have.
could hit that. I could mess you up.
You know, the more I
bleed
actually
out
shoot
from
this
that,
thing,
right?
the more I kind of don't mind it. Like the receiver is very much reminiscent of like a Remington 870. Kind of neat. It's a neat little piece of weapon design. And if you're interested to get your start in weapons design and/or gunsmithing, weapons technology, you can check out sdi.edu.
Isn't he
Links are in the description.
like
and
design? Like,
as always. So we've seen the
weapons?
first wound channel. I'm gonna try again to get that jaw and see if we can get that
I thought I'd
fracture
seen
out
something about
of the neck,
sorry,
more like
about
the
that.
original. We'll give it a shot. We'll give it a shot. Firing in 3, 2, 1. Ooh, fuck.
That looked pretty close. Looked like at the bottom.
That might have been a little dramatic. Let's see what we got here.
Oh, did he hit that even lower?
All right, so it actually looks like we are pretty faithful to the shot. So if you look here, we clipped
Oh,
him
yeah,
right
you're
in
right.
the bottom of the jaw. This is a perfect shot. It splinters down out through the neck. The only problem is the base of these ballistic dummies is all one piece. So it looks like we blew his spine out, but that's not what actually happened. But pieces of this this printed base here kind of fractured and ripped all off
this
the
stuff
rest
just
with
shows
it.
you
But
how
actually the wound channel here is pretty
destructive
damn
guns
close,
are,
as
in general.
the bullet entered through the lower, well, his lower right portion of his jaw, and then through the neck. On the actual wound, apparently,
He was up.
it was a lot more open this way, like it actually came and exited through here. But this is pretty close to the wound trajectory. Just to cover all of my bases, I wanted to be sure to tell you that all of my offhand remarks in this video have been complete satire. I'm an internet comedian and I am in moderately good health and have no intention on harming myself. So no matter what they say, I didn't do it. It wasn't me. Even if they send me a letter telling me to off myself.
What's he talking about?
Which, for the record,
That's what they said. That's what they told him.
did to MLK
They did.
right before.
Yeah, you could write this letter here. They were throwing everything at him. They were throwing everything. They saw it. I think they tracked him and stuff. It did seem, I think, like he was. I think they caught him cheating on his wife. And they had that, and then called him like a socialist and communist and these sort of things. But yeah, like he's a fraud. And this letter, you can again look it up. Just look at like MLK FBI letter, and it's like, if you don't off yourself, pretty much, we're going to expose you. That was essentially what ends up happening here. So it was bad. It's like, yeah, it's vicious, the letter.
Yeah, seriously, if you don't believe me, go watch that Wendigoon video. He's got a great soothing voice to fall asleep to.
Is that a long video?
Or make love
that
to.
make for a good
I'll tell you how to
commentary?
live your life. POV, you have questioned the FBI's official story on anything.
Oh God.
It's so fucking wrong.
Gosh. Well, this won't be monetized.
It's only
Drink
polite
it.
to
Drink it.
wash the blood off a bit.
Is it drinkable though?
Sorry, man.
The
On a real
fake
note,
blood?
guys, this has been a very interesting line to walk this video because, this is obviously a pretty somber and serious topic, but we're trying to introduce, our own, dark and edgy humor like we always do. And the hard part is finding that right balance, which hopefully we did today. If not, I'm always open to criticism, so you can send in your responses. I'm going through a tunnel. And in all seriousness, guys, thank you so much for everything you've done and help the channel get to over 3 million subscribers and climbing. It means a lot to me. You guys will never
Dude,
understand
GunTube
what you
is
mean
huge.
to me. And
I had no idea how big it is, man.
it's been pretty wild. But don't worry, we've got plenty of content still in the chamber. The RPG video was super fun, and up next is going to be one of my favorite videos. The Inglorious Bastards fist gun. Don't worry.
What?
For that. So stick around.
Did he make
Make sure you
one?
subscribe. Make sure you've got notifications turned
Do I
on.
need to watch
I
that?
appreciate you staying all the way to the end. And as always, I'll see you sexy YouTube mother lovers in the next video. Thanks. Walking out ASMR.
Final thoughts. All right, so hopefully this kind of piqued your interest in that. One of the most famous assassinations in American history, of course, does tie in all of the chaotic time that the 1960s really were. This like bridge of old and modern, and politics versus economics and foreign relations and government back dealings and all of this craziness that was going on. The 60s really was. It was a time of a lot of chaos. Anyways, it largely formed and shaped kind of the society that we have today. So with that, I think it's really important to study these things. All right, with that, thanks again. We'll see y'all next time.